Welcome. Welcome to Beast the Odds. My name is Montradamus, and we are trying a brand new show here on Beastdom, where we're going to go over today's whatever sport it is, NBA, MLB, NFL. We're going to go over the slate. We're going to go over what players to pick for daily fantasy. We're going to pick which games to bet on. And most important of all, we're going to beast the odds. Alright, so let's just jump straight into the action. First game, Brooklyn at Oklahoma City. I mean, right away, what pops to your head is Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Both these guys are MVP caliber players, and both these guys should have very strong games against a very up and down pace of the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets love to push the ball. They love to catch and shoot. They have a lot of role players that want to get involved, and they feel that this is their moment to shine. So when they're trying to do what they need to shine, they're going to shoot the ball. If Joe Harris has a three-point shot, he's going to take it. If DeMarre Carroll's got a matchup he likes, he's going to drive. Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell, all of these guys are guys that want to score. I can keep going. Alan Crabb, Chris LeVert, all these guys need to get their points. So when these guys need to get their points, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, these guys have to step up. These guys have to step up and put up big games. You can honestly go with both of these players in daily fantasy. We'll get back to that later, but as far as who's going to win this game, it's going to be a high-scoring game. You can expect to see Brooklyn score 115, 110 points in that range. So that means Oklahoma City's going to have to score around 120. The total for this game is 232.5. So Vegas is very close to that line. So that means I would not take that line. And is Oklahoma City a dead fast lock? I would not say they are a dead fast lock, because if either Westbrook or Paul George have weak games, then Oklahoma City, they are not going to win this matchup. The line is minus 10.5 for Oklahoma City. To be honest, I'd rather go on a tease with Brooklyn. Let's move on to the next game. Orlando at Washington. This is a game right here with two teams that are battling out for the back end of that 8th seed in the East. When you look at Orlando, you know they're going to go through Nikola Vucevic. Nikola is against Bobby Portis, and while Bobby Portis has been a beast with Washington, he's been great off the bench with Chicago. This is a matchup where Bobby Portis is going to get dominated defensively. With that being said, Vucevic really cannot guard Bobby Portis on the outside, because Bobby Portis isn't afraid to stand behind the three-point line, and Vucevic is much more comfortable in the paint. That will be an exciting matchup. We also got Aaron Gordon, most likely going to be guarded against Trevor Ariza, and that's a matchup where Trevor Ariza can shut down Aaron Gordon. Gordon has not proved to be that great this year. He hasn't been healthy. He has not been the vintage player. To be honest, ever since the slam dunk contest against Zach LaVine in 2015, we have not seen the same Aaron Gordon since. So Gordon, he is a beast. He is a great player, but Trevor Ariza will likely shut him down. Then for the Wizards, you're really looking at Bradley Beal carrying this team. Yes, Satoransky's been nice. Ariza, he can put up some numbers, but he's not going to dominate the game. Jeff Green, on the other hand, he is a nice sleeper just because he knows how to put up the numbers. But at the end of the day, it is going to be Bradley Beal. And as long as they don't have Jonathan Isaac guarding Beal, which if I was a Magic, I would definitely have that, then Beal should have a big game. I am going to, however, weigh on the side of caution, assume that Isaac will be guarding Beal, because Beal has to put up about 60 fantasy points in order to retain value. So you're looking at 34 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Even that, you're a little bit short of a clean Bradley Beal line. Evan Fournier for Orlando, he should have a strong game in this one. They need him to. The Wizards really don't have many players that can guard him, but you have to keep in mind Terrence Ross is a player that can come off the bench and just be the go-to shooter, which would make Fournier a very risky play. In the end, this is going to be a strong game. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be about 111 for Orlando, maybe 112, to about 115, 116 for Washington. and the over-under is 226.5. So that's actually right about where Vegas has it, and they have it as a push type of game. I'm going to push it as well. We're going to stay away from that from Daily Fantasy, and we're going to move forward to Memphis at Atlanta. These are two teams that are basically in tank mode. Memphis, however, has not been tanking. They have been winning. They won 3 straight last week. They got a good matchup against Atlanta. Yes, Trae Young should be able to do his thing, but Mike Conley is one of the most underrated defensive point guards in the NBA. He should see good enough minutes to do his magic. Keep in mind, Avery Bradley, also a terrific defender. He could be guarding Trae Young. It's going to be tough for Atlanta to get their production that they're used to getting from him. John Collins, we could see Joakim Noah. We could see Ivan Rabb guarding him. Jonas Valanciunas is starting against Alex Len, and while Alex Len is very tall and he is very long, Jonas Valanciunas, on the other hand, this guy's a beast. He's a monster. He's a big boy, and Alex Len's a little too skinny for him. It's going to be a good game. Memphis knows how to win as of now, so I am going to give the edge to Memphis. However, if I had to project a score, I'd go somewhere around 107 for Memphis and 100 for Atlanta. The total is 223.5. I would feel much more safe just taking Memphis in this one because Atlanta's defense is not that great and Memphis can win. However, with that being said, I do not like putting money on small teams. Teams that I mean are not in the playoffs, and Memphis is a team that's not in the playoffs. If you really want to throw some money down on this one, you can go with Memphis money line. All right, Detroit at Miami. One of the 4:30 games on the West Coast. We have two teams battling out for the 8th seed. This is a great matchup. How is Miami going to get this done? Well, you're not going to get it down low against Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. You got to get it from the guards because Reggie Jackson, he doesn't play great D. Wayne Ellington, he can't even spell defense. And Bruce Bowen, I'm sorry, they wish they had Bruce Bowen. Bruce Brown, on the other hand, is just a young athletic guard that they're playing at small forward. He's like 6'4". I don't know why he's their small forward. So what it's going to come down to is Miami using Winslow, Waiters, Richardson. Is Goran playing in this game? Final word is Goran Dragic is playing in this game. So Goran, Dwayne Wade. Miami does have the guards to make this happen. They're not going to go through Olynyk. They're not going to go through Bam. Hassan Whiteside could see more minutes against Andre Drummond. But in the end, it's really going to be the guards. And for Detroit, they're going to need Blake Griffin to be somewhat historic tonight. Somewhat historic in order for Detroit to carry on this game. Now, Blake Griffin had a very soft game the other night. Didn't even get a double-double. His rebounds have been down this year because Andre Drummond commands so many of them. So Blake Griffin, in order for him to get fantasy value, he's got to have a 25-point, 5 assists, 5 rebound type of game. Against Miami, it's going to need to happen because without it, it's going to be a blowout. So, in this game right here, if you wanted to go small on Miami, you can go small on Miami. And when I say go small in Miami, I would not take the -3.5. I would go money line with Miami. Golden State at Houston. This is a big game right here. There's no Kevin Durant tonight. There's no Kevin Durant. So for daily fantasy, that means you must play Steph. You must play Clay. You can play Draymond Green, and you probably should play DeMarcus Cousins. Because against Houston, Houston still can't play defense, but Houston can smell blood in the water. And Capella against Cousins, Capella could actually have a really nice game, easy double-double, because Cousins cannot guard the double team. I'm sorry, he cannot guard the pick and roll. And Capella's all about the pick and roll, but you also have to keep in mind Kenneth Faried off the bench should see good minutes. He actually matches up very well in this matchup, especially when Golden State likes to run, so Faried will see some good playing time. Take away PJ Tucker. The guy's all defense, and without Kevin Durant out there tonight, there's really no need for PJ Tucker. Eric Gordon, this guy's a shooter. He's going to be shooting tonight. James Harden. Harden can smell blood in the water. Expect him to have a big game. CP3, Chris Paul. This is a good matchup for Chris Paul as well. CP3 could have a very strong game. And this, now I know you want to balance everything. You want to manage everything. You want to have Russell Westbrook on your squads. You want to have Blake Griffin. But you really got to look at this game right here, Golden State at Houston. And you got to just see the upside and the potential in this scoring. So we'll see how the daily fantasy lineups match up. As far as who's going to win this game, Houston does smell blood in the water. It's never easy to bet against Golden State. But if you had to go with Houston, money line, this is a night to take them. Utah at Phoenix. This is a game that should honestly be a joke when you look at the matchup. We got Utah, a team that's playing for a potential Western Conference championship spot. Still no Ricky Rubio, but that means Donovan Mitchell is going to be carrying the squad. I'm going to say he is must-own in daily fantasy tonight with that because Phoenix does not play good defense. Royce O'Neal could be a good sleeper with this price tag. Joe Ingles, the guy can shoot, but they're going to need a lot of him. And Derek Favors, he's going to get his easy buckets. Jay Crowder, he's going to rake up some minutes from Joe Ingles. And on top of that, you got the big 7-footer, Rudy Gobert, who really has a big size matchup against DeAndre Ayton. Now, Ayton's near 7 feet tall, but Rudy Gobert with his arm length, 7'6", 7'7", maybe almost 8 feet to be honest. The guy's huge. He is the Tower of Gobert, and he is going to be a tower tonight. DeAndre Ayton, don't even think about playing him. Kelly Oubre, he'll get the minutes, will not play him. Devin Booker, he's been shooting lights out, but Royce O'Neal will give him a tough matchup. And Tyler Johnson, I mean, yes, he'll get some minutes, but there's so many great point guards tonight that I would not go with Tyler Johnson. Utah money line is rock solid safe. I'd stay away from the 10.5. And with that, let's get into our parlay of the day. All right, so our parlay of the day. This is a small play. This is very small. I would first go with Utah money line. I would go with Houston money line. I'd go with Miami money line. I'd go with Memphis money line. And let's top it off with the 5th team, OKC money line. That's a 5-team parlay. You put $10 on that, that turns into $350. With that, let's get into our segment, FanDuel Team of the Night. So let's see what we got. Okay, so FanDuel Team of the Night. So we were talking about point guards early on. Westbrook, Curry, great plays. Chris Paul, a great play. What is a Tyler Johnson? Not really a great play, but he will get the minutes. I'm going to say you pass on Tyler Johnson. Reggie Jackson, this is a guy who's going to get the... Ish Smith has been playing too many minutes. Goran Dragic if you want to play it safe. Let's keep looking. Let's just see what we got. Shooting guard James Harden, he could go off for a huge game tonight. He smells blood in the water. It's been the common theme of tonight. So James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, both great plays. Klay Thompson as well. He's got to score about 45 fantasy points tonight. That's a lot of fantasy points for Klay Thompson, especially because he really doesn't get assists. He's just going to need to hit three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. In my mind, that's a little too risky. I'm going to keep going. Small forward, no Kevin Durant tonight. Paul George really stands out above the crowd as the top small forward. And tonight's slate, got to go with him. Only 10,000 as well. He really doesn't even need that big of a game. Looking at the smaller price, small fours, we'll come back to these guys. There are some options. You can even go Alfonso McKinney, who can put up some minutes tonight. You know, he did play 23 last time Durant missed a game. We'll see. We'll come back to him. Power forwards. Blake is obviously the guy, but at the same time, you don't want to bust your budget on Blake because there are a lot of point guards. But there are a lot of point guards. So at the same time, you don't really need to hit the top of the top, but you cannot mess up at point guard. So looking at power forward, probably going to punt our second power forward today, just because you do punt one player on FanDuel. Dragon Bender, let's see how his minutes have been looking. Just about 15 minutes. I mean, these are guys that you're putting in and just hoping that they do something in limited amount of time. Yvonne Rabb, I mean, yes, he could do well, but he's not been getting the minutes as of late. Against Atlanta, they might need him to get those minutes. We'll come back to him. John Luer. Saw one game with minutes, not worth the option. Markieff Morris. He's questionable tonight. We will know ahead of time if he does play. With that being said, he is really just a desperation play. So we'll come back. There are a few guys in that category who could have nice games. So looking at centers, Drummond, no, not because Whiteside. Whiteside might play a lot of minutes. Do like Cousins more than Capella. See if we can find another center who's got some good value tonight's slate. It's not really looking good, to be honest. Now, you need Cousins to get about 45 fantasy points tonight. That's about 20 points, 10 rebounds, something like that. Cousins has not been playing the minutes to get that. Now, he will get the touches, but Capella's not going to make it easy on him. I like going this strategy right here. You go Nerlens Noel. Ready for this? You go Ed Davis. You go Markieff Morris. This strategy right here, let's just see something about Rich Holmes. No, we're not going to play him against Favors. So with this, you're almost guaranteeing yourself that the pace is going to continue to be fast in the second half, or all game in Brooklyn OKC, which I definitely believe it will be. Let's just see if Rondae Hollis-Jefferson got called back up. It's not really getting the minutes. Let's just leave it at that for now. Okay, so let's keep going with small forwards. So 5,867 left per average per player. I'm not going to spend up on small forwards today. It's not really the type of day to do that. Royce O'Neal, I don't trust him to get 30. He's really not that great of a player. Bruno, I mean, he does start. How many minutes has he been seeing? Just 17. Might as well not even start. Okay, continuing to look. So Alfonso McKinney, I think we just go and we save the money right there. So this strategy has been interesting so far. It looks like we're going beast or bust. Russell Westbrook, triple-double machine, take it. 2,400, can't take it. Okay. There's really no other point guards to, let's see, do we take down Harden a notch? If you want to take Harden down, there's really not a lot of upside plays. Can go Eric Gordon, but it feels like a very even slate play. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's just putting up big numbers as a starting point guard. You know that's going to continue against Phoenix. All right. TV timeout. Okay. Okay, gotta get Chris Paul somehow. It feels risky getting him. If we do this, we actually can't even do that. All right, let's get this right. Let's get this right. TV timeout. Okay, how are we gonna do this? 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 All right. James Harden smells blood in the water. Gotta play James Harden. Oh, now the question becomes: do you go Eric Gordon? No. Evan Fournier, is Fournier getting 38 minutes a game? If Fournier is getting 35 minutes, but you got Ross to worry about. Yeah, look at that. Can't even try to do that. Dwayne Wade will have a nice game, but he's got to have a great game for that price. Not even worth it. Klay Thompson will shoot every possession he can, but he's got to score about 30 plus tonight by himself, and I don't know if that's guaranteed. That's a very high mark for him to take, because look at his numbers. He's been shooting well, no doubt about it, but he doesn't get rebounds or assists. You're counting on the blocks and steals, which, yeah, he can get, but at the same time, it's not what you want to depend on when you're spending $8,000 on a player for him to shoot lights out and get the blocks and the steals with everything else. So let's look. Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder finally getting about 40 minutes a game. I'm just kidding. I know he's not. He is getting a solid 30. They will be running in that game. I'm going to say it's a maybe. Let's look at point guard. 6,500. No Rubio. Is Rubio officially out or is he game time decision? Will not play. Yeah, we're going to take out Donovan Mitchell with the news that Exum's back and all of that. But at the same time, we still got to get the right player here. Can we get Chris Paul? Just miss making that work, because that would be very ideal. Hello, Trailer. Let me call you back in a second. I'm actually recording live right now. You're in front of my audience. Everyone say hello to. Okay, so let's get this right. $8.5, we need to spend 8.3 or less. How are we going to do this? Can get D'Angelo, but D'Angelo doesn't score enough buckets, doesn't get enough assists. Look at that, 11, 18, 25. I mean, only once in the last, since February 27th has he scored like he should. Not going to take that chance. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this work. Kevon Looney, point guard, Chris Paul, shooting guard, Austin Rivers is more or less a backup point guard for the Rockets, so I'm going to go with a heavy and the team is set. We got Russell Westbrook and Paul George on our squad. Both those guys are going to be needed heavily in order to compete with Brooklyn. Look for Markieff Morris if he's healthy to get the minutes as well, to be the almost a go-to option off the bench. Of course, Dennis Schroeder is the go-to option. We also got Chris Paul, James Harden, Austin Rivers, the three guys who are going to be handling the ball the most on the Rockets tonight. And to finish it off, we got Alfonzo McKinney and Kayvon Looney, two guys that can see good playing time with the Rockets potentially blowing out the Warriors. And then we got Ed Davis, the guy at the bench for Brooklyn, who's he could see a lot of playing time, especially if Jared Allen gets in foul trouble. But more important than not, when he's in the game, he gets rebounds, he can get blocks, he can easily pick up 20 fantasy points a night. Well, that is it for the Beast the Odds. We appreciate you being here tonight. Beast. That is it for BC Odds. We appreciate you being here tonight. We got a star-studded lineup: Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Markieff Morris on Oklahoma City. Then we got Chris Paul, James Harden, Austin Rivers, the three guys who are going to be handling the ball for the Rockets. We got Alfonzo McKinney, Kayvon Looney, two young guys who should see plenty of playing time, as the Rockets will likely dominate the Warriors. And on top of that, we're closing it out with Ed Davis to get the rebounds against the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially when Jared Allen gets in foul trouble against a much stronger Steven Adams. Appreciate you joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Beast!